Welcome back, AG's Music World. One more show on the One Hit Wonders. I took a break last week from that. Did some analyzing of a Mamas and Papas song with some video, and the video got blocked. Excuse me. And I did it without the video after, so that's okay. So we're in the early 80s currently. This is, believe it or not, November 18th, 2019. It's just spinning. The year's almost done. It's just unbelievable how things are going. But it's going. Okay, we're going to see where we left off. We're just going to do it verbal discussion, and from there we'll be able to keep going, give you some more information on songs that I'm aware of, things I know about it. And we're in the early 80s, and the next one on the list is, I'm finding it. Where is it? Okay. Here it is. Musical Youth, Pas the Ducci. I thought it was a very innovative song because it was a complete Jamaican flavor. It was kind of, Ducci referred to some kind of food, but, it sounded like it was about smoking marijuana. Pas the Ducci, because you're passing marijuana, but it wasn't. I looked into it once. And I did find out, to discover that no, it was some kind of a food. And this was something that caught on for a brief time. The band never really. I'm going to say hi to anybody who might join me. There was a very good friend of mine that said he might jump into the chat, but he didn't know because he was super busy. So we're not going to be sure of that situation at all. And here we go to the next song on the list. And after Pas the Ducci, we're at a band that I did see live. I really liked them. There was early 1982 or 83, A Flock of Seagulls. They ended up having a few more hits like Photograph of You and Space Age Love Song. So it's another sketchy one-hit wonder entry. Sorry, but when I looked up Billboard, I figured they'd be the gurus of one-hit wonders, but they're really not. I could have made a better list. I actually did, but I sent it off to Billboard, and they did not show. They were nice enough to reject it with a paper in the mail. But no, Flock of Seagulls, they had a few, two or three hits. So I saw this concert live, and they threw a pick, the guitarist or the bass player, and I caught the pick, and I still have it all those years later. And I really like Flock of Seagulls. That's why I went, and I thought they were innovative. I like the keyboard style as well. Next is The Waitresses. I Know What Boys Like, kind of a novelty, cutesy little song. A bunch of girls talking about being flirtatious, or it was an okay song, a one-off. God knows whatever happened to these people. They just had that song, and nobody cared really. It was just like a thing that happened. The song was popular and gone. Now, the next guy had a huge history of being from Montreal, as he is, Aldo Nova. He did some work with he was doing studio work when Bon Jovi was working at the same studio, and did some collaboration with Bon Jovi. I think he played a little bit on Bon Jovi's first record because they knew each other, and they did a soundtrack, Wanted Dead or Alive. They contributed on that, and other projects together as well. Anyway, Fantasy was this super cosmic sounding guitars and synths, and you kind of got the feel that this guy was going to be a huge big deal. But he did have about 5 or 6 other songs like Monkey and Fooling Yourself, and about 4 others. I know he had some medical drug issues. I know he came on a big music talk show about 8-9 months ago, saying he was trying to work up another tour. But I don't know what happened with that, because Aldo Nova, I mean, to Montrealers, sure, I would give him I maybe consider going to see him. I've never seen him live, but there's not going to be this big crowd going into cities across the states. I just don't see more than 200 people showing up. because he's only known for 2 or 3 songs, and it's been many years. And I heard a story that in his 50s he started to smoke cigarettes. People said he's one of the few people that takes up smoking in their a little bit older. And also, he what did he do? Oh yeah, he did write songs for Celine Dion, which financially it's going to be a massive help for him financially. Next on the list is Eddie Grant. I did have a tweet with him. His song was Electric Avenue, that they say is his one hit, but of course, Romancing the Stone, without researching it, I know was another hit. So there's another flaw on this list, but we're going with it anyway. And I did tweet him, and I did say that I thought he had great songs, and he did reply or like it or whatever. I think he lives in another country. I know that he's one of the 2 times in my life that I actually predicted what the song would be next on the radio. Photographed by Def Leppard, and I said to my friend, actually it was 3 times. I said this next song will be, and it was Eddie Grant's Electric Avenue, and it was Diesel. They had a song too, Sausalito Summer Nights. I said that would be the next song on the radio. So 3 times I've done it. Next is a bit of a quirky song, Wall of Voodoo. I didn't know this even got to the top 40, but it was quirky, like really bizarro, like Devo style, with a obtuse, odd sounding vocal, and a band like that wasn't likely to get too big when they had a very off guard, off the wall sound to them. But they had that one hit, and not really much came out of that. Here's a song I'm gonna have to take a look at. I've been listening to a lot of his comedy. Rodney Dangerfield, Rappin' Rodney. I guess it was played. I don't remember it that well. It must have been some kind of a novelty song. Known for his great comedy, his stand-up, of course, and you can see him all over YouTube. Next is a guy whose big brother. I mean, how do you go through life knowing your big brother, or is his little brother, is such a massive star, man? You did a few songs, and maybe you directed something. I don't know, but I like the song that Frank Stallone had, "Far From Over." It was in one of Sylvester's Rocky movies, and I think he's had another song, but you know what? It's drifted out of my mind. And we're on to the next. Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Relax was a massive song. They also had they were very, very, very big in England. So in the United States, they weren't known for more than 1 or 2 or 3 songs. But in England, they had about 5, 6 big songs. The other big song was Two Tribes, which was really good. I don't know how it wasn't a hit. And then there was Power of Love, which was a very good song too. But strangely, the Relax song, which is, I won't go into detail in case some younger people are listening, but there is a bit of a story that you can listen. You can figure it out if you listen closely to the lyrics. I'm not going further into details. Here's another guy, Michael Sembello, Maniac. I think that was in that movie that Mariah Carey had a song. Not Mariah Carey, Irene Cara. Maniac. Very catchy. You hear it on ads. What was that movie? I don't know. She works in a metal company or something. It's not a big deal. I don't even think I managed to watch the whole movie. But he also had another song, Automatic Love. So how is he a one-hit wonder? And I'm almost sure Michael Sembello wrote songs for other people that were hits, 1 or 2. But I like that song, Maniac. It had a really catchy beat, a good dancing, jumping up and down in the video. And she was very pretty, the girl who was in the movie. God knows why. I just don't remember the name or the girl's name. But she had a few other movies, but pretty much obscure. Here we're back to another novelty song. One-hit wonder. Now, this band had to be a one-hit wonder. Total Coelho. I actually remember the song. I Eat Cannibals from 1983. It was novelty, silly song. I mean, not much brilliance in it. It's just like fun little song that you could forget about really quickly, and never hear it again on the radio ever. and that was that song. And we are next on the list going down. Peter Schilling, that I heard quite a bit of when it was out, and I liked it. Had a lot of good headphone sounding effects on it. Major Tom by Peter Schilling, and that was obviously some tribute or, you know, reference to David Bowie's a Space Oddity, because it was Tom, Major Tom to the ground control. So here's Peter Schilling, Major Tom coming home. Very good for the 80s. Another 80s song coming up right after is Taco, Putting on the Ritz. And Taco was obviously a big farcical attempt. I mean, they never followed it up with much. Maybe there was another song, but Put It on the Ritz itself was a copy of a remake of an old song. And I liked the arrangement. It was kind of tap dancing and very typical of the 80s in its bizarreness, you know, like I don't know if Baltimore is on this list, but at the same time it came out and kind of similar. Um, just had that funny little quirky style. You should look it up. It's kind of cute. And then there's another song, a dance song. Well, the girl had about two other songs, but Shannon had one hit according to this list. Let the Music Play. Great dance with synthesizers and great vocals. She did a couple of other songs for sure. And I remember dancing to this at one time. Early 20s, that was the time, you know, not much to worry about. Things were easy. 1983. But Shannon, I can't remember the other two songs she had, but look her up, Shannon. Same as the song by Henry Gross. Big Country is next. Big Country in a Big Country. A lot of hype about this band. A lot of hype. People were thinking, "Oh my, they're the biggest thing that's coming." Like, you know, they're so great. And I remember all the press. And then I think the guy died, and they had about two or three other songs. Maybe the like the bagpipes were too gimmicky. I don't know what happened, but because the guy passed, maybe there was a couple more songs, but they just didn't really keep their momentum more than about two or three other songs. Kajagoogoo is next with Too Shy. Now, technically, they are one hit wonders, but Limahl came out of this band with a Never Ending Story. So what I used to think is if you're the guy that has two hits, that means Kajagoogoo technically really shouldn't be a one hit wonder. If one of the guys, there were two guys, and I don't remember the other guy. If one of the guys runs off and puts out a song that's a hit, it kind of shouldn't be a one hit wonder, but it's considered as so. It's kind of a very bubblegum, a little annoying, a little I don't know. Don't want to say too many words to describe it, but I liked it, but I wasn't crazy about it. Now the next song was a very big pop song. You still hear it on commercials in movies once in a while. "Break My Stride" by Matthew Wilder. He had another song called "Kids American," I think it was. And this song, "Break My Stride," was like one of those songs, very like upbeat and like nobody can get in my way type of things. You'd think the guy would have had a bigger career than this, but this was huge, got a lot of airplay, and just the guy's career. I also think this guy wrote some hits for other people. I'm gonna guess that that's the case. You can look it up. Just Google the man. Eddie G's Music World, partially through. Show about one hit wonders, and there's a lot left, that's for sure. Here's a song. I always disliked this song. I don't know why. Came on the radio too much, maybe. The hit version was the one in German. It just bugged me. Nina, 99 Luftballons. It just sounds so stupid. They were talking about nothing. Maybe it was a song about peace. I think that's what the message was. But honestly, maybe if I only heard it half as much, I wouldn't have hated it so much. But I rarely dislike pop songs. But this droning synthesizer and this nonsensical vocals in another language, it just bothered me. It was number 2, so people went crazy for it. And the guy I mentioned that was in Kajagoogoo is next on the list, Limahl, The Never Ending Story. It was a movie, And I just talked about it, so I don't have much more to say. That it was just the same mushy song as the Kajagoogoo song, because it's probably the same singer. Murray had One Night in Bangkok. That also got a little too much airplay. So many times I heard this song. He had a big song where I lived in Quebec, because I don't know, the French freaked out over it. Say It Ain't So, which I liked a bit better. It's a little bit more depth to it. But One Night in Bangkok was funny, quirky. It wasn't horrible. And he was just here a year and a half ago, opened up for Culture Club, and I was honestly thinking about going. But I have issues getting babysitters, and my wife, if she wants to go, she doesn't like babysitters, so it became a whole hassle. So I don't go to shows too much. Next one was a real dopey song. Just retarded. Jump in the Saddle Band, the Curly Shuffle. It was a joke about the Three Stooges, and it was using some kind of freaky songs, and it was okay. It wasn't the worst I've ever heard, but honestly, it was like I don't know. It was a pointless song. Here's a band that had a massive couple of songs. Twisted Sister, We're Not Going to Take It. Big video, 80s hair band. They did have I Want to Rock. I thought that was a hit, but they don't consider that as being as big, or at least I Want to Rock. And they also had a Leader of the Pack and a couple other ones. And he's on Twitter, the singer, Dee Snider, and he's talked to very few people, like unknown people. And every time I see him on there, I always try to get him to react to me, but it's always, he moves past. He doesn't talk to me. But Twisted Sister is no more, but Dee Snider has ventures. He's very, very hardworking guy. He's always got some kind of opera going on, a rock opera or something he was promoting a year back. Another guy who's shouldn't be on this list because he was in a band called the Babies that had 3 or 4 hits. John Waite, Missing You. Number 1, I believe. Really good song. I never got tired of hearing it. It's all super emotional song covered by Tina Turner. But he did have another minor hit after Tears, I think. Tears, something. Good song. You should hear him. These are the kind of guys that you'd think maybe would be fun to see live because they have so much history. The Babies were big. He was in Bad English, When I See You Smile, number 1 song. But still, John Waite is considered a one-hit wonder. Lazy. I'm telling you, he's not. I don't believe in whatever this list is. But I'm reading it because I'm a trooper, and I'm going to keep going. Okay, Eddie G's Music World, keep on keeping on. Here's a guy, Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me. He's basically talking through the song. Excuse me. It's a bit of a what's it called, novelty type of thing where he's talking about the IRS, but the highlight of the song is Michael Jackson singing I Always Feel Like Somebody's Watching Me, because without that part, that song Rockwell might have bombed because it was a dumb song. But the part that's good is Michael Jackson singing one line. Rockwell is the son of Berry Gordy, one of his many children, who, of course, started Motown and also wrote hit songs for Jackie Wilson. But Rockwell was one of his kids. The other kids are the band that had some novelty hits in the 2008 or 9, 10, 11, something like that. These two guys with freaky hair had 2, 3 big hits, massive. I forget their name. Next is Mike Reno. How do you call this guy? One hit wonder. Almost Paradise, and I think it was with. I remember it being with Nancy Wilson, singing with him from Heart, and of course he's the lead singer of Loverboy. Had about 5 or 6 hits. But if you take a guy out of a band that had hits and then he has a solo record and you say he's a one-hit wonder, it's a bit weird. I like the song, a bit of an emotional song. It was in a movie too. Okay, another song by a band that I thought had another song, but I don't remember. Animotion, Obsession. good at the time. I really liked it, but no staying power. Bands like this, they crash into the scene with a big song, and you kind of figure, wow, this is a real big deal. But they were very techno, and I guess at the time techno was a big deal, but no longer. Uh, on the list, we coming up with a band that I think general public. There was people out of that band that was in a band before or after. Tenderness was a good song, kind of had a bit of a ska beat to it, but there was some kind of there was somebody in this band that did something else that was popular too. Next is a guy off of General Hospital, I believe, and later on Melrose Place. He was an actor. I see him in horrible B movies that are so bad that I change the channel right away. Jack Wagner. He had a mushy song. I liked it at the time, so it's a bit mean to say mushy because I liked it when it came out. All I Need. But if I hear it now, it's just like I change it. Change it all. I do believe it hit number 2. And let's see how much more do I really want to go with this. A few minutes more. Why not? We are up to Dead or Alive. You Spin Me Round Like a Record. They also had another another song too. Forget what. Brand New Lover was also a hit, or at least minor or medium size. And the lead singer, who's Pete Burns, who wears the patch in the video. This song was covered by I think Flo Rida used it for one of his songs, and he had a horrible, tragic life. This Pete Burns, he had um, plastic surgery on his face, and it went horribly wrong. He had lips, like massive lips, after the operation, or 2 or 3 operations. He called Howard Stern show and was talking about his situation and how miserable he was, and how he lived with this horrible face. I mean, listen, he wasn't an ugly guy. What the hell's I don't know if it was cosmetically the reason why he did the surgery, or he had some issue that he needed to do it in, to help himself with some medical problem. But it was a big issue. Next was a guy who died in the last year. The lead singer of this band, Talk Talk, It's My Life. They had 2 or 3 other songs that were well liked, but not big hits in United States and more England. Had a big cult following. A lot of people were miserable when this guy died. I can't remember his name. Um, and next is a band that was kind of women that were under the musical tutelage of Rick James, Mary Jane Girls in My House. So they were kind of prefab band. I don't know how serious this band was. It might have been one of his projects, just like, just throw people in a studio, and he produced and wrote. He's a very talented guy, Rick James. And I don't remember this being an act that was really an ongoing situation. There was probably just some background girls that he threw in the studio. And I mentioned Baltimore having a good likelihood to be on this list. He's also passed away. Baltimore and Tarzan Boy. Very gimmicky, very like, in a, known for this song, Tarzan Boy. But if you do put it in YouTube, or you do try to find it, you will remember it. I mean, it got a lot of airplay back in 1985. We'll give a few more because this era is it's very memorable for me, since I do remember the mid 80s very well. I had a good time. Um, 1 second, I do feel a sneeze coming on, and I don't want to horribly do it. Wow, live YouTube. You can't control these things. There are buttons in a professional studio that you could turn on. Here's a song, Yellow. Oh yeah, it was definitely in a 7-Up commercials. A lot of like effects. It was mostly just music with the guy saying "Oh yeah," and didn't turn into be a major project because I don't think this band really had a lot going on after that. Till Tuesday was another band that kind of came and went very fast. Voices Carry. I do I do think I appreciated the song at the time. It was kind of a good story about it. Now, the last song I'm going to do for today is Eddie Murphy, Party All the Time. You don't think of Eddie Murphy as being a singer, but this was a massive song in the top two or three. Party All the Time. And funny, I just mentioned Rick James, and he wrote and produced this song. He definitely produced it. I think he wrote it. There is a guy in Ireland he's very, his name is Pat. He's very big on checking my facts. So if he does listen, if I'm wrong, Pat, you can correct me. Anyway, he had another song too, Eddie, but wasn't as big, but I can't remember it now. But Party All the Time was a good, catchy song. And of course, Eddie Murphy's, he wasn't he did a high pitched type of version of it. So, it wasn't a serious career move for Eddie Murphy. All right. I will give this a time to say goodbye for the show. Eddie G's Music World, and the show has been One Hit Wonders, and we have a bunch waiting for you in the mid 80s that are on their way. So I do thank you for listening, and I hope people do. Goodbye.